You might remember in an earlier episode we talked about Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He said that our identity is tied up with our emotions and our heart, and that our human emotions are really the thing which is most important about our identity and who we are and how we think and how we behave. Some of the emotions that we feel are instincts, and these are sexual instincts. And so it followed on very naturally from Rousseau's thought that if we follow our emotions, we should also follow our sexual instincts. And Rousseau himself did that. He was a very promiscuous person who fathered numerous children and then just shunted them off to an orphanage when he didn't want them. And he wrote about sexual freedom and sexual identity being linked in with the emotional urges. So our sexual urges also ought to be indulged, because he said they were noble, they were beautiful, they were true, and to suppress them through some sort of absurd religious rules was to go against our human identity and against our human individuality. And this is where Sigmund Freud, the psychiatrist, comes in, who said those sexual instincts are just natural. They're natural instincts which need to be obeyed, and if you suppress them, you'll become neurotic, you'll become mentally ill. So just go with what you're feeling below the belt. That's fine, it's natural, and to suppress it in any way is unnatural and unhealthy. This is not really a noble emotion, according to Freud. It's just a basic animal kind of instinct. So to go with that is a natural thing to do. Another important and influential person in this area is the sex scientist Kinsey, who did an enormous amount of research in the area of sexuality. And Kinsey also followed Freud and said, whatever you feel is right sexually is right for you sexually, and you're wrong to suppress it, you're wrong to discipline it through these absurd and out-of-date religious rules. Now you can see what happened in the second half of the 20th century. The philosophy of Freud and Kinsey and Rousseau found a perfect mixture with the technology of artificial contraception and abortion, which allowed the sexual revolution to take place. And so the philosophy of Rousseau and Freud, which basically said, go with whatever you're feeling below the belt, was given license to be acted on, because suddenly the one consequence of sexual freedom, which was unwanted children, was taken away. And then with antibiotics, the other consequence of venereal disease was taken away, so that by the time kids were growing up in the 80s and 90s and their parents said, you mustn't do that, the girl might get pregnant or you might get a horrible disease, the boy would say, it's all right, she's on the pill, or she can have an abortion, and it's okay, they've got antibiotics if I get a disease. Therefore, society began to say, whatever you feel sexually is what you need to do. Along came the Playboy magazine and pornography, and the technology matched the human desire, and people were able to do whatever they felt they wanted to do without any consequences at all. Please check out this series on the Array of Hope channel.